2026 has been a landmark year for putter technology. We've seen the continued rise of zero-torque putters, the return of ultra-premium materials such as Damascus steel, and even improvements on modular technology, allowing you to change your putter and how it behaves in just seconds. I've spent the last 6 months testing upwards of 70 putters to determine which ones are the best for your game, but today I have narrowed it down to my top 13 and we'll get into those. I'm here at the beautiful Tavistock short game area at Woburn Golf Club, where I'll be splitting these putters into 4 categories: blades, mid-mallets, high-MOI mallets, and of course zero-torque putters. Right, let's get into the video. Right, we're going to kick this video off with the purest choice, and that is of course the blade. Now, blades are definitely a dying breed on tour, but they are unmatched when it comes to looks and feel, in my opinion. Now, there are a few standouts this year, but let's start things off with quite a cool putter. This is the Sausage Golf design number 2. Now, of course, Sausage Golf came to the market last time round with the Boudin Noir, but they are the first in kind of modular technology. So this allows you, it's really cool, through a screw system on the bottom here, you can actually take the shaft out and replace it where it is on the head, allowing it to act as a center shafted putter. You can have it heel shafted as I do here with a bit more toe hang, or of course, you can swap dexterity and actually use it as a left-handed putter. Now, this does have a 6061 aluminium face as well, so it does offer quite a sprightly kind of feel off the face. It's quite lively, but I have to say, I really like how it feels. It's got this mill design here, and of course, the sausage logos on the front, which really help it stand out. In terms of alignment aids, there's a very, very short alignment aid here on the flange, and a sight dot that I'm not quite sure actually why it's there, because it's so small when you put it down behind the ball, and it's kind of at an angle, so you don't actually get the full visual of it. But either way, I think it's quite a cool design and one that is worth checking out if you want to purchase a blade that maybe just has a bit more technology. Now, moving on to the next of the blades, and that is the TaylorMade Systm 2 Soto putter. Now, this is a really cool design. It's got this flow neck hosel here, and it's got this two-tone contrasting head, which I think really helps with alignment. When putting it down behind the ball, I really liked how this allowed me to set up square to my target, and also the line on the back of the flange here really helps with alignment. It does have this milled kind of face design to it, made out of 304 stainless steel. It offers a really, really soft feel, and in my opinion, this is probably the best value blade on the market right now at £219. Right, now I feel like we have to get this honourable mention in, because it wouldn't be fair to talk about blades without talking about the Ping Scottsdale Answer. It's got a really nice kind of thicker top line here, which I think is really valuable. A bit like the TaylorMade, it's actually got this two-tone design again. So I don't know if that's a bit of a theme that might be kind of carrying on here. But again, line on the flange here, this is in a kind of shorter plumber's neck finish. It does have this soft P-backs insert, which feels really, really soft compared to kind of the milled finish on the TaylorMade. But that's worth an honourable mention, and that is just before I move on to what I think is the best blade of 2026, and that is the Toulon Boston. Now, this is a new blade in their lineup for this year. We've got this beautiful kind of deep sea blue finish here that's kind of reflecting, especially, I was going to say when the sun's out, but we don't actually have much sun out here today, unfortunately. But it's got this long neck design, which is actually quite an interesting play here from Toulon. So this kind of long neck design actually reduces toe hang and creates a bit more of a face balance design in a blade. So if you're someone who kind of looks for that straighter kind of arc, then with a blade, then this may be worth checking out. We've got this sight dot on the top here, which I absolutely love. I actually prefer a dot to a line a lot of the time in putters. I just think it allows you to putt a bit more freely, particularly with a blade. It's all designed around feel. On the bottom here, we've got these weights here. You can actually buy interchangeable weights online that allows you to kind of customize the weight of the putter, allowing it to kind of be built to your stroke. And finally, we do have this deep diamond mill finish on here, which I think is absolutely superb. It kind of comes off a bit hotter than I was probably expecting from a milled putter, but I have to say it does feel really good. And once you get used to it, you'll have your pace dialed in with one of these putters. Right, before we jump into what I think is probably my favorite category this year, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you hit the like button down below and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you like any of the products you see in today's video, I'll put the handy links in the description box down below for the best prices for these putters in your area. Right, mid-mallets, I think, are probably some of the most overlooked putters on the market, and maybe in the past we haven't given them as much credit as they deserve. We're going to start this off with the Ping Scottsdale Tech Catch Onset Putter. Now, this is an interesting one because it's got an onset design, much like zero torque putters, but this is very much not a zero torque putter. It's much more face balance, as you could see here, designed for those with a slight arc. They do offer kind of a zero torque model in this kind of white head here, and that is the Alley Blue. But I really like how this catch sits on the ground. We've got this kind of trident alignment system here, as well as this IQ technology with this little dot here. So it kind of gives you something to focus on when it's down behind the ball. So you're not focusing on what this putter's doing throughout the stroke. Gives you a real focal point, enabling you to hit better putts. We've got this really soft P-backs insert that we saw on the Scottsdale range last year with their answer that I talked about earlier in the video. And you get this really nice Pistol 2.0 super stroke grip on it, which I think feels exceptional in your hands. In terms of distance control, I really like it. Considering I'm someone who typically plays a mill putter, I actually really like how soft and responsive this insert is. Right, moving on, we're going to talk about the Bettinardi BB49. Now, Bettinardi, I think, are probably, like Mid-Mallets, one of the most overlooked brands maybe in the putter kind of market. I don't think they get the credit they deserve. Now, these putters, I think, this year look superb, this BB range. It's got this kind of almost a metallic-y looking blue, but it's a satin finish, I think, that looks absolutely superb. That, alongside this kind of matte silver shaft and these really nice kind of pistol grips, I think give this putter an ultra premium look to them. Now, you've got this face here that has 6 different segments. So depending on where you hit it on the face, it tries to produce a really consistent roll. So if you're not quite on it on the day, you should see the same roll for more consistent ball speed and pace control on the greens. I really like how this putter sits down behind the ball. You've got this long alignment line here, makes it really easy to aim to your target. And this tiny kind of flow jet neck design here as well, really, for myself, I feel like it just rotates beautifully throughout the stroke, enabling me to hit really nice, consistent putts. Now, an honourable mention in this category would have to be the Mizuno M-Craft City Series Nagoya. Now, Nagoya are placed in Japan. These putters are forged in Japan. You've got this really nice kind of soft milling on the face here. It's fairly deep, so it does feel quite soft off the face. I really like how there's this top line on here. Down behind the ball, I wasn't such a fan. It's hard to explain, but it's a rounded yet angular putter. So there's a few straight lines on there, but also some really nice curves. So depending on what you like the look of, you may or may not like that. Also, a shout out to a corded grip. Big fan of this kind of lambkin deep etched corded grip. But if I was to pick my absolute favorite of the mid-mallet category for this year, it would have to be the Odyssey Damascus milled 1 wide. Now, I just think these putters look absolutely superb. By far the best looking putters on the market this year, thanks to that Damascus kind of milled technology, offering a really soft feel. Now, we haven't seen kind of the Damascus range for quite some time from Odyssey, so I'm really happy they brought this back. Again, like I said in the blade segment of this video, I really like how there's a top dot here rather than any lines. Kind of just allows you to be a bit more free with this single bend design. It of course comes with a very premium kind of etched pistol grip from Odyssey here, and the head covers are worth a shout out as well. I mean, I know that means absolutely nothing because people might put their own on, but it's kind of got this fleece line feel to it with a quilted design on the top, just to add to the ultra premium look of the Damascus milled. And for that reason, these are my favorite mid-mallets of 2026. Right, next up is the High-MOI Mallets. Now, these are the putters that if you're struggling with strike and consistency of pace on the greens, you're going to want to turn to. They offer exterior weighting, allowing for higher MOI and, of course, more stability. We're going to kick things off with the Cobra Tour Agera RS putter. Now, Cobra are really making waves in the 3D printed industry, and they are doing so with their putters as well. Now, this features descending loft technology, so the loft changes as it goes throughout up and down the face, essentially meaning if you hit one slightly thin or slightly higher on the face, you should see the same kind of consistency of roll, helping with your pace on the greens. Does have quite a Marmite look to it. You may be able to see between this kind of gold and black colorway. I'm not such a fan, but it may be something that you might like the look of. It does have this carbon kind of finish on the top here, and these two racing stripe alignment lines, which again, I find a bit intruding. They're slightly large for my liking. And in a weird way, it does have this kind of infinity look to it. So the stripes actually roll what looks like almost down the face when down behind the ball. Again, something I'm not such a fan of. However, I am a fan of aftermarket components, and the fact that they do put Super Stroke pistol grips on these as standard is a big win for me. Now, if you're after something a bit more boutique, then this is the Toulon Las Vegas. Now, this was one of my favorite putters last year, but they have changed the design slightly. We've got this new blue finish that I mentioned earlier on the Boston blade, which I think looks absolutely superb. Again, offers this deep milling face here, which surprises me how lively it is considering how deep etched the face is. We do have this flow neck hosel on this. So this is the H7 model. There is an alternative option with a plumber's neck, but this is the model that I think looked superb this year. There is also an oversized putter grip, which would go with the heavier head option on these. So you can actually get a counterbalance option in a few of the head designs this year. So that is something worth considering if you're in the market for a High-MOI putter, but want that kind of boutique look. But of course, the winner of this category had to be the TaylorMade Spider Tour X. Now, it's so interesting that TaylorMade have really kind of changed their perception in the market. They were so known for being bombers off the tee with their drivers and fairway woods. But I think they might be becoming a putter company. And that sounds bizarre because putters were never really kind of their talking point, their focus point for years. But the Spider range has really kind of excelled recently. These are so stable and forgiving. You have this kind of rear weighted system here, increasing the MOI and stability at the rear of the head. The alignment features are absolutely superb. You've got this true path alignment system that's slightly smaller than a ball, so it does really focus kind of in on your line, especially if you put a line on your ball. It's really easy to align, and there is a line that runs throughout here. You do also have this pure roll insert, which really, really gets the ball rolling quickly, and I think really helps with distance control. It does come off fairly lively, so it will take some getting used to. And of course, TaylorMade do opt for a Super Stroke pistol grip as well with a KBS CT putter. So there are a few kind of really nice factors to this putter that's worth considering. But in terms of High-MOI putters, I think you're going to really struggle to beat the TaylorMade Spider Tour X this year. Okay, our final category in this video is, of course, zero torque putters. Now, they have taken the world by storm over the last couple of years, and we're seeing some more and more kind of traditional looking designs within the zero torque space. Right, we're going to kick things off with the Odyssey square to square tri-hot Jailbird SB putter. Yes, the name really rolls off the tongue. I think it might be the longest name in putter history here. But in terms of the putter itself, it is absolutely exceptional. Now, what I really like about these putters is that we've gotten rid of this kind of center shafted need with zero torque putters, and they have found a way of making this hill shafted design work with zero torque technology. Now, the whole point of a zero torque putter is obviously to keep the face square to the path throughout the stroke, improving and increasing start line accuracy and essentially helping you hold more putts. Now, this putter, I really like this two-tone contrasting finish here between this satin black and satin red design. I think that squares the face up really nicely at address. This new grip here, I think, is absolutely superb. It's this kind of new pistol oversized design from Odyssey. It fits really nicely in your hands. You've got this rib design on the back here, which just fits in the creases of your fingers superbly. And this flat top line, I think, is superb for just placing your hands down behind the ball. So if you're after a zero torque putter that has a slightly more traditional look, then this may be where you want to turn your attention to. But next up in this category is the PXG Hot Rod. Now, this is the largest zero torque putter that PXG have produced. It is now being endorsed on the PGA Tour by Marco Penge, rising star. He has put one of these in play since making his move to PXG in January. And it features some really cool technology. You've got this kind of pyramid facing that PXG have been famous for. which feels exceptionally soft off the face. It's such an underrated face on the market, these. And PXG putters, I just don't think probably get the credit they deserve. And so that's why I want to shout this out. We do have this kind of four-weighted design here on the sole, which helps you kind of maximize stability and MOI by spreading the weight to the perimeter of the head. But it does come with this center shafted design and this long alignment through the center, which will really help with alignment. My only gripe with this putter, and there is an option to change grips, of course, but as stock, this came with this PXG slant 1.5R design, which does actually feature kind of an offset grip design in order to counteract the shaft lean on this putter. I just find it really boxy and uncomfortable in my hands, but if you're really looking to take your wrists out of play, then this may be the best option for you. Now, a few honourable mentions in this category. If you're looking for something that's a bit more value orientated in the zero torque space, then the Wilson Infinite V606 putter is where you probably want to turn your attention to. It's an interesting design. It actually looks like a larger mallet head just shrunk, and it's hard to explain, but when it's down behind the ball, and hopefully you can see that, you'll understand what I mean. Even the sight dot is slightly too small for my liking, and the lines are very, very thin. But overall, it's a really nice piece of kit, and it comes in considerably cheaper, around the £220 mark, compared to upwards of £500–600 that we often see in the zero torque putter space. It's got this fine milling on the face here, which feels absolutely sensational. It's a slightly firmer feel than a lot of insert putters, so that might take some getting used to. And it does come with this oversized grip here, which again does feel really nice in my hands. If you're after a blade in the zero torque putter space, then it's worth shouting out the new Lab Link 2.1 putter. It features this HS design through this aluminium riser. But it's kind of crazy how far these zero torque putter designs have come since Labs first kind of introduced themselves into the putter sphere. So down behind the ball, this really does just look like a standard blade design, but it does come with kind of a pistol lambkin, again, deep edge grip. Lambkin are getting in everywhere, aren't they, with their grips? But a grip that I really like, and that's obviously why they do it, does have a line here on the back flange to help with alignment, and this milled stainless steel face here as well is something that I think offers a really nice feel to it. But my overall winner in the zero torque space is the Lab DF3i. Now DF3, you know, rose to fame through Adam Scott was using it, and of course JJ Spawn went on to win the US Open with the DF3 just last year. But this new DF3i features the insert here, and it's the insert that I prefer out of the two, rather than the aluminium milled face that Lab typically offers. I just think this gets the ball coming off a bit more lively, and that is a design that I absolutely love. Down behind the ball, it's of course a very, very large head. Once you get used to it, it's actually not that bad. You have to take my word for that. I know some people will hate how this looks, but I think it's quite easy to get used to. And of course, this large lie angle balance design really helps with stability on off-center hits. And for that reason, I am choosing this as my favorite zero torque putter of 2026. Of course, this wouldn't be a Golf Monthly video if I didn't pick my absolute favorite putter for 2026. Drum roll, please. It's the Scotty Cameron 9.2R. Now, if I was to stand on the 18th green with a 6-foot putt to win my match at any point this year, it would be this putter that I put in the bag. And the R stands for a refined kind of roundness feel to this putter. It's had some tour influence. We've basically smoothed out the edges, made them far more round, as opposed to that kind of boxy, more angular look that was in the previous Phantom 9 model. It's got this reduced sight line here, which I'm actually a massive fan of compared to the line that ran the whole way through the head. That is obviously a case of personal preference, but that is something that I really, really liked. But apart from that, it's got this beautiful kind of flowing look to it, especially down behind the ball. It feels as though you can just really release the putter nicely and put a really good stroke on it. But of course, the magic is in the face with these putters. You have this studio carbon steel insert with this chain link milling face, which feels absolutely sensational, buttery soft through impact, but it's responsive enough that you know where you've hit it on the face. but it really does help improve consistency with roll and of course then pace control. And I really, really like the nod back to the old kind of studio style line of Scotties here with these 3 cherry dots. I think that looks really cool. Of course, the 9.2 offers this kind of plumber's neck design. That is something, again, that I personally love. The grip I really, really like. It's kind of got this flat paddle design that I think sits really nicely in your hands. The thumbs kind of just sit perfectly on the top, nice and flat, with this rounded back to it. Just feels really nice and feels as though your hands sit naturally in position. At around the $450 pound mark, this is a serious investment, but due to the premium looks and the studio carbon steel feel, I think it's worth absolutely every penny. So there you have it. We've broken down what I consider the 13 best putters of 2026 into the 4 categories, and of course picked my overall favourite. Let me know down in the comments below which of these putters you would consider gaming if you are in the market for a putter this year, or which putter you have in the bag that you simply can't get rid of. But from me here at the beautiful Tavistock short game area at Woburn Golf Club, we'll see you next time.